This school year, WTIM announcers will select a player at the end of each game who will receive a certificate for being named our Player of the Game. Good luck to all the teams this season, and go Tornadoes!
WTIM. Good morning, Central Illinois, and welcome to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kimai, and hey, a new school year means a new year for the Christian County CEO program, and we're going to talk with their facilitator and two of their students this morning right here on the show. They join me in studio. Let me introduce each of them for you. On my left, the facilitator, Neil Hohenstein. Neil, welcome back.
Yeah, Reed, thanks for having us.
Yes, it's good to have you as always, as I turn your mic down over there. And let me actually make sure I turn our student guests' mics up as well so we can hear them. First in the middle is one of the students, Gavin Vacker. Gavin, welcome into the show.
Thank you, Reed.
Yes, and also welcome into the show to the guest all the way on my right, Lincoln Coffey. Lincoln, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to be here. And this is, you two are saying actually, was their first time in the building even.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Have you been on the radio at all ever before this?
I personally have never. I mean, I've been in front of the camera for a few things, but I've never been in this room on the radio.
Okay, all right.
No, I just take photos. I don't do any in front of the camera work.
Okay, all right. Well, you're doing some of that right now with our Facebook and YouTube live streams, and you're on the radio right now. So that is super cool. So yeah, you're getting started with the Christian County CEO program, and you've only been in it for like a few weeks now. Has it? Only a few weeks?
We had our first full week last week. So we've been in a total of just around 10 days. So we're very, very fresh.
Okay. How have those 10 days felt? Has it felt overwhelming, exciting? What's that like?
Yeah, I think it's been really good. The tone of CEO has been set of, how we introduce ourselves, how we act around, other people, how we dress. And really the science behind that, because that's also really critical. But yeah, it's really just been kind of setting that foundation, which is really vital for when we go out to tours and meet speakers.
All right, and that's a big thing that you've done. A couple tours, but one or two tours so far. Talk about what you visited so far.
So just yesterday, we actually went into the CTI office, or like they call it the House of Adam and Billy. So we got to tour that yesterday. We got to see the server room, all of the marketing part side of it, because we personally got to talk to Jeremy Anderson and just see the insides and out of that. And it was super, super cool. One of our very first things that we did was we started on a Thursday, and the Friday after we got to sit in a CEO board meeting. So we got to see the in-depth of just the CEO program as a whole. And we got to sit in, listen to them talk about money, talk about personal things. And that was very, very cool for just the second day starting out.
Yeah, that seems like it. And that's where a lot of the meat happens, of course, in a business there, in that sort of meeting. So CTI, any other big tours?
No, not yet. It was just CTI, and as Lincoln said, the board meeting.
Okay. So 10 days so far, it sounds like in the CEO program so far. Has there been any discussion about like what businesses you each might put on, or any discussion about like the class business? What's that like?
We haven't got too in depth of that. We've been kind of learning about the aspects of business, kind of first steps of what needs to happen on marketing side of things, talking to people, just reaching out to people. And then here in the next couple of weeks or so, we really like to do something at Chili Fest, and many of the classes have done that in the past. So we really like to do something with that, and we kind of just need to communicate that, but we do need to get the first steps out of the way towards that.
Yeah, and kind of laying the groundwork, it sounds like, which I think makes total sense. In terms of kind of understanding and grasping those concepts, did a lot of it seem kind of new? Did it seem kind of familiar going in? What was that like?
Yeah, some of it was a little new, but also I think some of it was, fairly simple, and especially as someone that's big into talking to people. I was kind of like, this is nothing new, but I think it was the way to approach things was a lot new. But it's one of those things. I can't wait for Chili Fest and have the support of the community and just see how this first business goes, the mistakes we go through and the victories we have.
Yeah, we've a lot of us have had Mr. Hohenstein for years in the past. I mean, a lot of us started having him as a teacher freshman year, and his CEO traits have come out, and we've gotten a lot of his Neil spiels, as we like to call them, before we ever made it into the CEO class. So some of this stuff is we've heard it before, and he's really just trying to drill it into us because they are very, very important things on even to day to building a giant business or corporation.
That is a new term I've heard just there, and I've been around it before with the Tommy TV broadcast last year. But no, that's really cool. Sounds like you're getting your feet wet, understanding kind of what you need to when it comes to running a business. Now, sounds like still in those early phases. Do you two sort of have any ideas yet of what individual business you're maybe thinking of putting on? Anything like that?
I personally already have two of my own businesses. I'm not gonna kind of throw all that out there, but I've done a lot of that already in the past. But the businesses kind of as a team is a lot different. I've always just done things on my own, and now learning I've done things sometimes backwards or in the wrong steps, and just being in that class, learning the right order to do things has already helped me so much in these last 2 weeks. And it's skills that I could not have learned in any other classroom anywhere else in Christian County.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're taking advantage of that there. So when you're learning these concepts, right? It sounds like you're kind of thinking back to your previous experiences and thinking, oh wait, no, I should have done that instead of that. Is that like
yes,
what it is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's kind of just and a lot of organization things where I just didn't know what, and I was just throwing people places and having him be like, hey, you should probably do this, and hey, you need to get this account set up, hey, you need to do this, has just already helped me so much in just the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Nice. Well, it seems like you have that progress there. Gavin, what about you? What are you maybe thinking of in terms of an individual business, or where are you at with that?
Yeah, so with Tommy Photo, I've gathered the skill of photography, and I've really gotten really good at sports photography. So I've thought about going that route. A good person that photographed at THS one time also made kind of videos out of their photos. So I've really thought about going into the sports photography, maybe doing something for the youth that we don't provide as Tommy Photo, but also maybe taking photos of just kids individually, so focusing on somebody on the line or, one certain baseball player. But yeah, that's the thing I've thought about. And I think it's going to be fantastic to just provide another opportunity for these parents and these kids just to remember their years in high school.
That's cool. So yeah, it sounds like you have that experience there. So does it look like, at least for now, that you're going to go in that direction for the individual business, or maybe something else?
Yeah, so I think that's the thing I'm thinking about. Is really, we've kind of learned in the CEO, take a skill that you're good at and, figure out where the issue is and where somebody needs it and, profit off it. And so I've thought about photography, but also just as this is senior year, I've thought about everything and anything under the sun. But I think photography will more than likely be the route I go.
Okay. Yeah, and I remember previously having your teacher on and talking and him talking about that concept earlier as well. So yeah, I think you both have some ideas going, and we'll have to check back at the end of the year, see how they turn out. I mean, hey, we record all these interviews, so we can listen back afterwards and see how all of that goes. I've been talking with some of the Christian County CEO students, Gavin Vacker and Lincoln Coffey, alongside their facilitator, Neil Hohenstein, here on the WTIM Morning Show. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll dive a little more into what's next in the Christian County CEO program this academic year. And I'll tell you what, I always love hearing about this stuff. So we're going to get to more of that on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 Ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Looking for comfortable, affordable senior living in Taylorville? Rolling Meadows Senior Living now has an accessible unit available. Designed for adults 62 and older, Rolling Meadows offers a smoke-free community with controlled access and 24-hour maintenance. Enjoy spacious kitchens with full-size appliances, convenient on-site laundry, and Wi-Fi in common areas. Call 217-287-2450 today to schedule your appointment. Rolling Meadows Senior Living is sponsored by Lutheran Social Services of Illinois and funded in part by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago. Rolling Meadows is an equal opportunity provider.
Here's Jeremy Pyatt.
If you've been waiting for the right piece of Illinois farmland, this is it. 33 acres near Palmer, Illinois, featuring over 26 acres of productive tillable ground, a stocked pond, pasture, sheds, and more than 65,000 bushels of on-site grain storage, all ready to work from day one. Bid online now through September 17th. Visit cclandauction.com. That's cclandauction.com. If you have any questions, call me, Jeremy Pyatt, at 217-553-0822. Don't miss this one.
The first day of school is just around the corner. Here's Dr. Pavi Gill with Springfield Clinic, Taylorville.
Don't wait to schedule your child's school physical as appointment slots book up. Check this task off your list and call Springfield Clinic Taylorville now.
Call Springfield Clinic Taylorville today at 217-287-8855 to schedule your appointment now.
At People's Bank and Trust, they help their consumer and business customers spend their time living their life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, they put people first. Find out how they can help you by clicking their banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
WTIM.
And we're back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I've been talking with Neil Hohenstein, the Christian County CEO Facilitator, and Gavin Vacker and Lincoln Coffey, Christian County CEO students, in the early weeks of the school year for Christian County CEO. And it's a fascinating program. I always love hearing about what's going on in it, what the students are involved in. And it just feels like it always gets better and better because of such topics as the recent CTI board meeting that some of the students went to. And I know there are a few more things you folks wanted to share about that. I don't want to give too much away, but what else did you kind of observe in that meeting that you particularly took away?
Yeah, so the board meeting was of the CEO program, and I think the really fantastic part was we got to see Robert's Rule of Order kind of get put in place, which we've now used in a certain situation within the CEO program. I think also just seeing how they manage money and how sometimes people conflict with that, and how the conflicts were more everybody has the students' best interests at heart and the best way to go about that. And I think also one of the fantastic parts about that board meeting was seeing how the community really cares and gives back to the CEO program. And really, it was the second day, but to see that foundation start, that the people in that room are there for your success and want to see you grow was fantastic.
Yeah, and anything to add, Lincoln?
No, not really. We got to see some pretty cool stuff. I mean, we got to see people agree with each other, and we got to see people disagree with each other. But at the end of the day, they are all board members, and they keep it very, very professional. And they do just want to see us succeed, no matter what, whether they disagree or agree. You put a lot of views in a room, and a lot of people from a lot of different aspects of life, and they just want to see the best for all of us at the end of the day.
And that's great. And that's what it's all about. At the CEO board meeting, I got one of those 3 letters correct when I was leading into it earlier. So that's really cool. I thought when you folks were talking about that, and I wanted to bring it up again. I want to turn our attention more to the facilitator now, Neil Hohenstein, because we're 10 days into the program now, and there's certainly a lot more coming up. What is the program going to look like in the next, let's say, month or so for the students in terms of learning and preparation?
Sure. So we really focused the last, since we've got started, on building the culture of CEO. Why do we do the things we do and hold ourselves to the standards? And of course, we're introducing business terms along the way. So whenever Jeremy's talking about gross revenues or what's the difference between that and net revenues, so then we can go out and let's think about making some money ourselves. So you heard him talk about maybe coming up with an idea for Chili Fest. This will be something that they brainstorm, and then we put an action plan together and execute on it. And same way with booking some tours and booking some speakers. So we're right out of the gate, and we want to handle ourselves in a professional manner. So we've talked to some already. So for example, one of the other ones coming up is we took a DISC survey, so a personality profile, so ways that we can have self-awareness. And then so we've got an expert that's going to drive up from Effingham, is going to talk specifically about the DISC profile. And then like I've talked with Brent DeMichael, so we'll go tour with him, and then different people throughout the community. We'll spend time all around Christian County, so Pana, Taylorville, and we have a Morrisonville student this year. So I imagine we'll get over and take some tours and hear from some Morrisonville folks. So, and then all in between, this is a dual credit class. They're getting Lincoln Land credit, and they're starting, and you heard them say that they'd like $1,000 to start their own business. So in between times, we're talking about actually kind of executing on some of these plans. So all that kind of interchanges all at the same time. And then of course we talked about the trade show that'll happen in the spring of this year.
Okay, so no, those sound like some exciting plans, exciting talks, informative talks, it sounds like, and it just feels like, more and more steps to kind of build the groundwork for, the group business and then the individual businesses is what it sounds like.
Sure. And we're all over the place. We once again secured the trip to Chicago, and that'll be a really good opportunity. And that's in October. So all of these things are starting to come together, and we're ready. So, we spent the first time getting ready how to do the right things. And then we're putting them out there. They're a great bunch. This year we have a solid group of 15, well diversified. They get along well, but they also realize that they've got some goals. We were talking about our class budget just today, and how we're going to, we're going to need thousands of dollars if you want your $1,000 to start your business, but like we pay our own way. So we buy sashes. We will pay for our annual report. So these are all expenses that they're paying for. So they're building the businesses, they're making the profits from that, and then using those in good ways.
All right. Now that is really, really cool. All that is coming up at the Christian County CEO program. We got about 2 minutes left, and I know the two of you, obviously in the early days of the program, I know it sounds like you have some previous experience with business work. How did you get into that business work to begin with?
I personally got into it. My father, he'd never really wanted to work for someone. He always wanted to start his own thing, and I saw myself a lot in that. And I don't really like having a boss all that much. Mr. Hohenstein's more, he's just he's just guiding the ship, and we're all steering it. But I'm not a big fan of bosses. I like having my own boss. So that's one of the biggest things. I don't like set schedules. I like to be able to work around it. And the only way I can really do that is if I work for myself. And so just the incentives of working for myself was just so much higher than the downsides. It's a lot of work, and it will never stop being a lot of work. Your phone is never off. There's some people that wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and they decide to call you. And there's some people that don't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning and they decide to send you a message, and your phone is always on.
Yeah.
You always need to respond to something. You always need to do something.
Exactly. Gavin, I'll let you talk 45 seconds.
Yeah, so my great-grandpa ran his own heat and air company, and he just gave back to the community quite a bit. And I think you just get the opportunity more to give back when you aren't surrounded by a bunch of rules with a corporation.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. So, it sounds like you two are pursuing what it is that's going to work for you. And as far as I can tell, that makes a big difference. So really cool to hear about all the things going on with Christian County CEO, Facilitator Neil Hohenstein. Students Gavin Vacker and Lincoln Coffey have been my guests in this part of the show. Thank you three for coming in this morning.
Thanks you.
Yes, and thank you for listening here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. We'll be back in just about 10 minutes' time.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelby.